I'm proud of those guys. A lot to get better at. Job's not finished, but winning is never easy, especially against a good team like that. Uh, yeah, I'm just proud of those guys.
How was it moving over to the left side after starting at right all last year?
It's a little weird. It's a little weird. I think I'm starting to get down more. I've been working on it. I've been trying to get some more reps at it. And next time I'm at that position, I'm gonna make sure I'm ready. Sir.
We heard that you were the most consistent offensive lineman through camp and all of that. Where have you seen yourself improve the most, maybe since last year?
First, I think one thing that's really helped me is my faith. Getting closer to God has helped me work a lot harder. My leadership also helped because now I'm trying to step up and be an example for those guys and show them the right thing to do. I think all that, and then also the competitiveness in the room. We have a lot of good players, and that just makes me want to be better. So, guys like Troy, Derek, Eddie, Mike, Ryan, even the young guys are stepping up. Daniel. All of that just makes me want to play better and be the best version of myself.
How about physically? Because we've heard you also kind of crushed it in the weight room.
Yes, sir. I'm a workout guy. I love to be in there. I really wanted to get my body, and peak position. Sorry, what is the word? I can't remember the word. Peak physical condition. I'm sorry, peak physical condition. So me and Smitty, we were really hitting it hard. I was getting extra. Just trying to find any type of edge. And obviously your body. Your body's your business, especially in this sport. So, just trying to get my body to the peak it can be. And, I'm still not there. Still a lot of work to be done, and I'm very excited for it.
Febechi, Jake was telling us that you guys still have a lot to improve on, especially in the run game.
100%.
What specifically did you see from Saturday that you guys can learn from there?
There's a lot of things. Communication can be better, 100%. I think individually, for me, I can be more of a leader out there on the field. I can, try to encourage guys and get things going a little bit more. Try to be a spark for the offense. That's one thing I see.
You mentioned some of the young guys in that room. How important was Saturday for Ryan, Eddie?
That's so important. Getting out there and getting a chance to be out there, in front of the fans. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking. I know my first time out here, looking around at all these fans, all the amazing fans, it was a little nerve-wracking. I don't want to let nobody down. But now, when you get that first game, you start to understand. Okay, this is the environment. This is what it's going to be like. This is how I need to proceed. This is how I need to prepare. And I think, playing your first game really shows you, what you're going to be on the field, and where you need to improve at.
You just talk about the environment against Illinois State. Michigan will be even more fans. Not only is it Michigan a big opponent, but it's college game day too. What do you think of all that?
Man, I'm excited for the opportunity. Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamed to be on the big screen on college game days. With all the yellow hats. So sorry, all the yellow hats, and I'm just thank God for the opportunity, and I'm ready.
What are you seeing on Michigan's front to tape you looked at?
They're a physical team. They are who they say they are. They're going to bring it, and we have to bring what we can do. We have to bring it every play. Physicality. They're a physical team, and it's going to be a fun game.
So. Physicality. What did you learn from all the SEC defensive lines you played last year, as far as the next level you personally had to take to be prepared for a line like Michigan's?
SEC, Big Ten, those are the most physical leagues. You have to be ready to come off the ball every play, every snap. You got to make sure you have all your techniques right, your pad level right, and you have to make sure your body's in good condition, because if not, those guys are too good to not be at your peak performance. You're gonna lose if you're not.
How do you think a young guy like Ryan Foje did this past Saturday?
He did good, especially for it being his first game. He's a young guy, true freshman. I'm extremely proud of him, but then again, there's a lot of work to be done. It's just a starting point for him. I'm really excited for his future.
You mentioned the SEC and the Big Ten. They've got quite the rivalry. They've sort of taken over college football. Are you playing for SEC honor? Is that part of the deal Saturday night?
I would say I'm playing more for Oklahoma honor. I'm playing for the school. I love this school, the way everybody's taking me in. So I'm playing for the fans and my coaches and my teammates. So.
What's one thing you're looking to improve on just individually heading into Saturday?
One thing I want to improve on individually is just my overall consistency. I know that I was consistent, but, constant improvement. I want to be consistent in everything I do, and my improvement every day, my leadership, my energy, everything. I wanted to be consistent all around.
What's it been like playing with John Mateer so far?
He's fun. He brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot of spark. You know, in the locker room, great guy to talk to, buddy. Like, you can joke around with him. On the field, incredible leader. You know, he's going to take charge of the offense. And, yeah, he's a great guy.
How much better is just the overall vibe of this offense this year versus maybe last year?
You know, it's a lot better because I think that guys are starting to understand, you know, where they are and where they need to go. And, you know, you can see improvement. You know, obviously we had some guys stay from last year, and those improvements that guys are making is giving them more confidence, you know. And I feel like when we're a lot more confident team in what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish.
Do you feel like just the run game, obviously you had your ups and downs on Saturday. Are you guys close, or did you when you look at the film, did you see some things that were easily fixed?
Yeah, you know, there's 100% things that can be easily fixed. Close, I don't think anybody's close to anything, you know. Obviously, we're starting for perfection. So, and if you reach perfection, what's the point of starting for perfection? You know, that's the point. You want to keep trying to get better. There's always something you can do. There's always some type of improvement that can be made. Sure.